Okay. So what happened? Retail investors, are they the ones holding the market up? Are they? So what did the retail investors do? Retail investors came into the market after democratization of marketplaces by Robinhood, right? You got to take your hat off to Robinhood. Look, is the best UI out there? Is it the best place to trade? No. Is it? There's no free trading. So people figure that out with their fills, but it's so simple and it's so beautifully done. It's almost to the point of gamification, right? We were all stuck during the pandemic at home, government sending out $7 trillion pumping into the economy. We were all there. They were all sitting home and YOLOing into GameStop and doing whatever. Is that all money gone? Of course it is. I mean, how many bag holders were? Yeah, some people made ridiculous amount of money and hopefully they kept it. Making it is easy. Keeping it is hard in this game. But so retail investors have been the big buyers on every dip. 2023, every dip bought. 2024, every dip bought, and they were right. They were 100% right. This last dip, while the hedge funds were selling or shorting, who was buying? Retail. So retail does have power now, right? There's also $7.5 trillion sitting in money market funds. So that's kind of like a market put, right? When every time market pulls back a few percentage points, retail is there with two hands buying. Okay. But then at some point, right? And that's why I recommend to everyone on my channel to kind of watch the macro economy, what's happening. And now you can't day trade by watching macro, but what you can do is you should understand what's happening behind the scenes. And is there a bigger picture developing? And I'm not going to get into macro, but I'm going to get into the power of retail. Power of retail moves things, right? Although they are completely unreasonable moves. It's not, again, I've talked about this before. Do not create personal biases when you're trading. You may think something is overpriced or something is underpriced. Couldn't care less about any of that. What it is you have a price in front of you. That's the price, and that's second. Now, you can sit there and argue about, oh, that's too high, that's too low. Like people were saying that about Palantir. When it was 50, 60, 70, it's 140. There are crazy stocks that are happening now. Circle comes public a week ago, whatever it was, 40, whatever it was, it's 230. It's up another $440 today. You could have said Circle is expensive for the last 2 weeks or week. You get your face ripped if you want to shorted that thing, right? Or CoreWeave, better example, 30 in a month, 100 and whatever it is now, 80, right? Is it expensive? Absolutely. Is Circle expensive? 1,000,000%. Am I the one to pick a top on this thing? No. Oklo, right? All these stocks, nuclear stocks, they're expensive. But it's not for me to go say, yeah, they're expensive, I'm going to short these things. But retail are the ones that are moving these things. And how do they do it? They do it by options, right? They buy these YOLO options, thousands by the thousands, weeklies, zero DTEs, whatever it is they do. I mean, 60% of the whole option marketplace is zero DTEs these days, right? So retail does have an effect on all of this. And look, I don't want retail to get hurt, but here's my cautionary tale. This just came out on the Coinbase letter. I follow them on Twitter religiously, so you guys go follow them as well. Retail investors' market involvement is at record highs. So when everybody is in the pool, who else is left to go in the pool, right? You got to think a little contrary in this. So now, does that mean a crash or something? No, probably not. But what I'm looking at is when everybody's in the pool, you got to get out of the pool because there may be a shark in the pool. And so penny stocks, a proxy for retail activity, reflected a record 47.4% of total market volume on Thursday. Think about it. Penny stocks, according to Goldman Sachs. This surpassed the previous all-time high of 45% seen in May 2024. Okay. What happened after May 2024? We had the Japanese carry trade situation happen, and that wasn't pretty. This was also more than twice as high as levels seen in the retail trading frenzy in 2020 while we were sitting home flipping options. Okay. So, interestingly, 20% of trading volume in stocks worth less than $1 took place during pre-market hours. Well, man, that's the pumpers. And meanwhile, individual investors' share of the options market, options are, by the way, were created to hedge for institutions, not for YOLOing and taking directionals and things like that. But individual investors' share of the options market hit 18.5% last week, one of the highest on record, according to JP Morgan. Retail investors are still buying. Yes, good. If you're retail and if you're dollar cost averaging for long periods of time, highly recommend it. But if you're retail that is trying to YOLO into these stocks, because the market will make you a bag holder, be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling anybody to do this and to do that and do that, whatever. No, none of that. I'm just saying be careful, but also have a little contrarian opinion. When everybody's in the pool, it's time to get out of the pool. That's all I know. I've known this for 30 years. Is it immediate? No. But does it happen? Yes, it does. What happens is that they plug them all in, rug pull, blow them all out, new suckers show up. There's a sucker born every day. Again, I'm not calling retail suckers because they have been absolutely correct on every buy and every dip. And but be careful out there. That's all I'm saying. Position correctly, be patient, let stocks come to you. And if you're going to do any of this crazy stuff that I do, all power to you. But if you're going to do that, please understand what you're doing. Please know the Greeks, at least, if you're going to trade options. If you're going to swing zero DTEs, you should understand implied volatility. You should understand all that stuff. If you don't understand, you get lucky once or twice, and then that doesn't mean you know anything. So